It's National Youth Week, and today's unemployment report highlights the struggles facing some of those aged 20 and under. SBS finance editor Ricardo Goncalves joins us now in the studio. Ricardo, do the jobless rates for younger people differ from the general population?
Anton, they certainly do. The headline unemployment rate impressed, down from a revised 6.2% to 6.1% in March, but the youth unemployment rate is more than 3 times that figure. It may not look like it today on Bondi Beach, but more of us are actually working. More than 31,000 full-time positions were created last month, along with 6,200 part-time roles. All up, nearly 38,000 people joined the workforce.
In annual growth terms, we're looking at employment growth of around 1.6% per annum, which is about where it's been for the last couple of months.
It's an improvement on the 1% growth rate experienced this time last year. Today's data also suggests more older men returning to the workforce.
I think that's really coming off the back of the residential construction resurgence that we're seeing, particularly in New South Wales.
It's been tough for younger people like 20-year-old Jackson Johnstone.
Once you're not working for about a year or so, you can drop into that rut of just getting used to not working and being lazy, just surfing every day, doing whatever you like.
He was unemployed for 2 years.
It was a little bit tough. I was applying for a bunch of jobs online and wasn't getting many responses, so it was kind of a little bit discouraging at times.
But 2 weeks ago, he found a full-time position at a Bondi cafe after registering with an online recruitment agent.
I'm loving it so far, so yeah, coffee, barista work, I thrive off social interaction with others.
Jackson is one of the lucky ones. Youth unemployment is a problem in Australia, with a jobless rate for those under 20 remaining at 19%. Australia has 1.4 million people between the ages of 15 and 19.
Out of that group, only 336,000 are not in full-time education. That is actually quite a large number, and that's probably the group that we want to focus on.
23,000 of those are not working at all. For those looking for work,
I think one of the main tips is to have a succinct resume that is up to date, no spelling mistakes.
Understanding your unique selling points and being able to provide real-life examples through study or work is also important.
Employees in this market are really looking for experience, so if they can get that experience through volunteer work or through when they're studying on out programs, then that would be fantastic as well.
Hayes identifies shortages in early childhood, retail sales, IT and junior-based office roles. Now, you're certainly going to need a job if you want to be able to afford to live in Australia, because we've just been crowned the world's most expensive country. The Deutsche Bank report says Australians pay $1.12 for what Americans can get for $1. Public transport in Sydney and Melbourne is the most expensive, ahead of New York. The good news is that when it comes to beer, it's not so bad. Parisians pay on average $7.60 for a pint. Sydney siders pay $5.38. To the Australian share market now, which is about 50 points away from that magic 6,000 point mark on the S&P ASX 200 anyway. ANZ rose. It will pay $30 million in compensation to thousands of customers who paid for financial advice but didn't receive all services they were promised. Nine Entertainment closed higher after it agreed to sell its live events business for $640 million. Tokyo's Nikkei closed flat. Shares on Wall Street rose following a rally in oil stocks. Now take a look at the Australian dollar, up more than 1.5 US cents since yesterday, and that follows today's surprise unemployment data. Some say it gives the RBA room to hold interest rates next month, but no doubt they'll want to see what happens with inflation first next week. And on the commodity markets, both gold and oil are up. And the European Central Bank kept interest rates on hold overnight, but something else jumped up at the organisation's news conference. A protester briefly disrupted ECB President Mario Draghi, telling the media European stimulatory measures are performing well. And that is certainly one way to make finance interesting. Janice Annette.
Indeed, might have been angry at the high price of beer, Ricardo. Thanks for that.